Welcome back to Decadorks. We're the 12-sided guys. We have Scott as Ornan,
At your service.
Sabrina as Cilvy,
Oh, hello.
Jordan as Mawgrim,
You're most welcome.
Matt as Guy,
That is my name. Don't wear it out.
and me, Paul, as the guy with all the great gift ideas this holiday season. Think of me as the JCPenney's Christmas catalog, but without the lingerie section. Boo! We like
Oh
the
my
lingerie
God.
section. I mean, you can think of me with the lingerie section if you want, but that might get a little weird. Are you looking for something to get that hard to shop for significant other this year? Well, how about a button? Character buttons are in the shop right now as we speak. Or what about your parents? You know what they would love? A t-shirt for 12-sided guys. They'll be so overcome with gratitude that they'll be speechless. And how about that office Secret Santa you've totally procrastinated shopping for? I'm sure Mark in accounting or Holly in HR or even Brenneth over in tanning and tailoring would really appreciate getting a podcast recommendation. And which podcast?
You know, the best Secret Santa I ever got was a squatty potty.
Well, and which podcast would be better to recommend than 12-sided guys? None podcast. That's which. For more gift-giving ideas, go to the 12-Sided Guys Discord by following the link in this episode's description. And if you're wondering what we here at 12-Sided Guys would like this holiday season, we're just happy with your money. So go check out our Patreon and get yourself a little gift as well.
At least we're honest.
Just like the Nerded Beard, he recently became a patron, and not only does he have access to the wiki and our bonus content, but he also gets a little Christmas present to him from us. Anyway.
Look at that beard, though. Immaculate.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, that nerded beard is great.
Anyway.
10 out of 10.
Anyway.
Wood beard again.
Anyway, if you ever threw all your family's valuables down the laundry chute into your basement vault, all while keeping the wet bandit gang at bay with your squirt pistol, then this podcast is for you. It's Chorus of the Forsaken, episode 15.
I knew that one. I played that one.
Yeah. You know what's really disheartening is to see that giant house with all those rooms and like multiple stories, and to think, yeah, Kevin's parents probably paid less than $200,000 for it.
Oh, it feels so bad. Right in the gut.
Oh, man.
Thanks
Seriously.
for ruining my day, Matt.
Also, they could have put those kids to work at age, 13 back then? So really, you'd be raking in the money at that point. No wonder they were able to buy such a nice house.
I wouldn't trust Buzz with a job, though.
I wouldn't trust him with a job if he was attached to my ass.
What?
It's a line from Home Alone. Come on, you
Oh,
guys.
man. It's been so long since I've seen it. I'm sorry.
All right. I wouldn't let you sleep in my bed if you were attached to my... And then when I read the book in 5th or 6th grade...
I think it was growing on my ass.
If you were growing on my ass, whatever. But when I read the book in class, it changed it to arm. And I remember raising my hand and being like, that's not what it really says.
You were the teacher kid.
I was the teacher kid. All right. Well, welcome back to Vio Severia and the city of Redlum. Last time we were together, our party managed to finish their trip from Baragrad into Redlum after a night's stop in the town of Bayman, where they saw a bunch of empty houses where people had been leaving the town due to increased danger from the animals around, including their own domesticated animals like dogs, cats, even cows and sheep. They continued moving along to the city of Redlum. Along the way, Guy and Calden had a DTR with each other. And is that right? Is that what they call it?
Define the relationship? Yeah.
Do they call that outside of Utah?
What's DTR?
Okay, so they don't.
To
No, it's determine the relationship or
Define the
Define.
relationship.
Define the relationship.
the
Yes.
relationship.
Yes. So Calden and Guy came to an understanding as Guy's suspicions grew about Calden, and that potential shipping may have disappeared. Sorry, listeners.
That ship has sailed.
Exactly. Upon arriving in Redlum, the caravan split up. Everyone kind of went their own separate ways, including Serena, who disappeared into the streets, Ryla, who told everybody that if they ever need to travel with caravan again, to look her up, and the family went their way. Calden went to the inn called the Oaken Throne, and our party suddenly became aware of a rush, a gathering that was happening just north of the Chapel of Aona in a place called Cinders Square. That's not its real name, but that's what it's come to be known, because that is often where pyres are built and people are burned. As part of the party, Mawgrim, Ornan, and Cilvy followed the crowd to Cinders Square. Guy took young Deelar over to meet with the contact he had been given way back in Beregrad from Alana, the pastoral of Shantea.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So
There's a
many
lot
names.
of names. There's a lot of names. The name of the location where Guy was supposed to take Deelar is called Thistledown Threads. As they made their way there, Ornan, Cilvy, and Mawgrim arrived at Cinders Square just in time to see a flurry of activity as numerous acolytes and prelates of Aona lit a bonfire beneath a woman named Jellowin, a woman who Cilvy knew from her time growing up. And before anything could be done, this elven woman, Jellowin, was burned and gone. And that is where we're at this moment in time. We have Cilvy, Ornan, and Mawgrim at the Cinders Square with a crowd of people watching this fire burn. Just to really quickly describe again the people here in the square. In the center of the square surrounding this altar, you have these, we called them last time heretics for Aona, these magic users who are using arcane power, but using it to combat the arcane, which Mawgrim recognized. And each one of them, there's a man and a woman. They each have a warrior standing next to them, somebody to make sure that they stay in line, that the arcane power doesn't corrupt them. Also standing around are the prelates, these two prelates and this archprelate of Aona. These are the people who run the local church. They are not inquisitors. They are not crusaders. They're not on pilgrimage. They stay here in Redlum and they run the affairs of the Church of Aona. They are all standing around as this fire burns. So, Mawgrim, Ornan, Cilvy, what are you guys going to do?
Cilvy failed a constitution roll, so she vomits.
Okay.
Ornan puts a hand on her shoulder, holds her hair out of the way.
Oh, what a good friend.
Yeah, Mawgrim is just looking at the events and just kind of scowling.
There's not much we can do right now, but maybe soon.
What's the reaction of the crowd? Are they cheering? Are they in disbelief? Like, what's the mob like?
You see, everyone who's there, you see a mix of reactions. You see people cheering, and you hear some people saying, "Burn the witches, burn them all." You see other people crying. You see people turning their back to the fire, and you see some people slowly kind of turning their back and walking away, not wanting to stay here in Cinders Square. You see the prelates, the archprelate and the two prelates, the church workers, basically. You see them standing around the pyre, and you see these magic users and their bodyguards. You see them gather themselves up. Last time I described one of the magic users forced himself to vomit. The other one was kind of hitting her head, trying to take control, make sure that the arcane power did not take over her body. You see that those four individuals begin to move off south towards the Chapel of Aona. I will have Mawgrim, Ornan, and Cilvy all make perception checks as you are scanning the crowd.
Ornan got a 10.
Mawgrim got a 13.
And Cilvy also got a 13.
As you are all watching the crowd, you see as people are dispersing, there was such a flurry of activity to get here, and then it's just kind of died. People are quiet. They are whispering to each other. They are leaving the square. And as you stand here, I don't know how long you guys are going to stand here, but the crowd starts to disperse as it has become very obvious that Jellowin has passed.
Is anybody kind of guarding the pyre? Like, could I get closer if I wanted to sort of walk over and see if there's any bit of her hanging around?
So what you notice is that the Inquisitors, those two soldiers and those two magic users, they have moved off. But the prelates are still standing there. They're both probably in their mid-30s. The man has dark hair and a beard. The woman has her hair pulled back into a tight ponytail. They are both watching the pyre. And then the archprelate, who is an older man, probably in his 50s with a gray beard, is turned around and he's watching the crowd. But also between them and the crowd, there are also some city watch guards of the Baron that are kind of there to keep the peace just in case things start to get unruly. So probably not going to be able to get too close to the pyre.
Okay, yeah, no, I definitely wouldn't go any closer if they're hanging around.
As the crowd starts to disperse and these prelates are watching the fire, the archprelate, this older man, he speaks up and he says, "The demonstration is over. All of you, please return to your homes. As you know, it gets dangerous here at night. It's best you be within doors before too long. May Aona guide your steps." Then he turns back towards the pyre, and then the crowd starts to disperse even more.
Perhaps we should go.
To the Oaken Throne?
Yes, I just think that staying here might not be a wise idea.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, let's hit the road then.
As Mawgrim and Ornan and Cilvy leave Cinders Square, slowly and melancholy, we're going to cut across town over to Silverhand Lane on the east side of town. It is a nice part of town. These shops along this lane are immaculate. They are large, or even if they're not large, they're grand. They're well built. They have pennants hanging from windows. They have marble statues in the central park areas between the buildings. You can see that the houses here, the buildings are tight in against each other. There might be like a 5-foot alleyway between the buildings, or they might very well share a common wall, as is so common in these cities. But before long, at the south end of Silverhand Lane, you come to Thistledown Threads. You can see it is a modest building relative to the buildings around it, but it's in a very posh part of town, so you can only imagine that this is some very expensive real estate. As you approach this building, you can see that there are these large bay windows, and as you look through the windows, you can see that there are some candles that are burning, and you can see through the windows inside. You can see there are mannequins set up in the windows displaying gowns and different outfits. You can see that there is a counter with some fabrics, but you don't see anybody moving around inside. You and Deelar and Pranciful are approaching the front door, which is on the north side of this building.
Okay, before we get to the front door, though, I would kind of stay back in an alley, and I would pull Deelar aside, and I'll say, "Hey, Deelar, buddy. I'm sorry, this is where I'm going to have to leave you. The people here will take you somewhere safe, and they'll take you to a new home. I'm going to go talk to them. And it's going to sound weird for a bit, maybe, but I promise that I've done this kind of thing before. Listen, it's going to be dangerous, and I wish it wasn't. But you've already proven that you're such a strong young man. If everything goes well, then you shouldn't have to show that much strength again for a while, and you can go back to just playing and learning and being a great kid. I'm not going to lie, this next part will be scary and lonely. But you won't be alone, okay? You'll have a snuggle dog for a while if you want. And here." Guy will take out his book, and he's going to open it up to that page that has the contract that he wrote with Tobias. And he'll say, "I'm going to write out, let's call it an agreement on this page, saying that you'll take care of Pranciful, and he'll take care of you. And you put your name at the bottom if you agree. Then I'll be able to check in with you to make sure you're keeping the agreement. Does that sound good?"
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about this for a while, and I actually wrote out a little contract.
Okay.
Okay, so it says, this is what the contract says. I, the undersigned, agree to take into my care one snuggle dog and agree to the following responsibilities. Provide pets, cuddles, good boys, etc. Maintain close proximity to said snuggle dog at all times, including when sleeping, eating, relieving myself, etc. Keep myself and snuggle dog from unnecessary harm or undue danger. Upon signing and in accordance with my continued execution of the previously stated responsibilities, I, the undersigned, will receive the following. Affection in the form of face licks, playful tugs of war, corgi butt wiggles, and the like. An alert and vigilant watchdog, including warnings of danger and calls to come play. And a companion that requires neither food, water, sleep, nor potty times. The terms of this contract shall have a duration of 1 week, with the following exceptions and stipulations. Should physical harm come to the snuggle dog, it shall immediately return to its holding location and be unretrievable by the undersigned. This contract may be extended beyond the 1 week timeframe at the sole discretion of the holder of this contract. And then it has a place to sign. I hereby agree to the above stipulations and agree to abide by the responsibilities as outlined.
Aw,
That's
so
so
cute.
cute.
That's amazing.
Little corgi butts.
So does Deelar sign it?
Deelar 100% signs that, and then as soon as he signs it, he hands you back the quill and he scoops up Pranciful and just gives him the biggest squeeze.
So Pranciful will stay with you for the next week, okay? And if he's about to get hurt, don't worry. He'll disappear back to his home and he'll be just fine. And since you've agreed to take care of my dog, I'll be able to check in with you on how he's doing. So don't be surprised if you suddenly hear my voice. All you'll have to do is just talk back in a short message and I'll get it. And if you can't talk right then, you can stay quiet and I'll check in shortly after, okay? Or you can whisper. Do you want to try it out?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so Guy will take out his book, and on that page, he'll write a short little message, and then Deelar hears in his mind, Pranciful's farts smell like vanilla and mint.
You hear back, no, they don't. They smell like turds.
But it's funny, right? And at the end of the week, I'll contact you, just like that, to let you know it'll be time to say goodbye to Pranciful. Deal?
Deal. And he holds out his hand for a shake.
Give him a handshake.
Predator handshake.
Yeah.
You
All
give
right.
a 10-year-old a predator handshake. Boom!
Yeah,
All
snap
right.
his wrist. Last thing. I need you to stay here with Pranciful while I go make some arrangements, okay? And if Pranciful starts to wander off, I want you to follow him, because he knows where to go next.
Okay. All right.
You're a cool kid, Deelar, and I'm excited to see the person you grow up to be. All right?
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gee.
You're welcome. And I'm going to go ahead into Thistledown Threads.
Yeah, you walk up towards that front door.
Is it locked?
No, it's not locked. The sun is going down, or actually the sun, I think, is actually down at this point. It's not terribly dark, but it is dusk.
Yeah, I figured they're closing up shop.
As you walk up towards Thistledown Threads, you can see that the door is still unlocked, but you know that it'll probably be closing fairly soon.
All right, I'll just open the door and head on in as if I'm any kind of normal customer.
All right, as you open the door, there's a little bell that rings as the door opens. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. And you hear a voice call back and say, we're closed.
No, I actually have a donation. I have a pair of shoes and socks, pants, and a shirt for donation.
There is a beat, and then you see coming out of the back room. The way that this shop is set up is the front room is like the sales room where they display the dresses and the shirts and the vests and all that kind of thing. There's like a table with hats on it, and then kind of on the west side of the building, there's a curtain that's opened, and you can see that's like a place where a lot of the tailoring happens. There's little stools for the people to stand on, but coming out of another back room, you see this tabaxi woman step out. She has tan fur with like black markings by her eyes. She is dressed very nice, but not like ostentatious. You can tell that the clothing is expensive because it's they got some silks and things, but it's not overly gaudy or anything like that. She comes out and she says, cautiously, she's approaching you. A donation, you say?
Yes, I was told by the pastoral of Shantea in Beregrad that you would potentially be accepting donations.
Sabrina. Sabrina. She's all,
She's a fancy fox tabaxi feline, guys.
Sabrina, you're passing notes. Why don't you share what you wrote with the rest of the class?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Paul's just using hot Khajiit tokens over here and then pretending like we're not going to notice that she's a smoke show.
She is a smoke show. She's lean. She's got kind of long legs. She comes that grace that tabaxi have. As she's walking by this table, she kind of looks over and quickly darts her hand over and grabs a ball of yarn, then puts it back. And no, not right now. And then she turns back. Then she turns back to you, Guy. Guy, what's your passive perception?
Passive perception is 14.
14. With a 14, you can see that her ears are, when she came out of the back room, you can see that her ears were laid back. You can see that she is approaching you cautiously, and you can see that her ears are still laid back. You also see a little bit of the hairs on the back of her neck are up. And she says, well, I'm sorry, you're misinformed. We don't accept donations anymore.
That's a real shame because I was really looking forward to giving you these clothes, and I know that they are in dire need of a new home.
Yes.
They're children's clothes.
You can see her shoulders kind of slump. And she says, well, before you show me the clothes that you need to donate, I should let you know that the woman who accepted the donations is no longer available.
Okay. And just so everybody, all our listeners remember, this is really, really good thieves' cant concealing
Yes.
the intentions of our conversation right now. It's very
I
good
honestly
thieves' cant.
was very confused as to why you guys were talking about clothing. So 10 out of 10 pulling the wool over my eyes.
Well, obviously Sabrina doesn't speak thieves' cant. Okay. She says, why don't you show me the clothes?
Well, so the woman who used to accept donations, is she not returning?
She looks around. She walks over to the door and she shuts it, the front door that you left open. And she shuts it and she turns back around towards you and she says, I'm going to be frank. The woman who used to help with what you need, I'm fairly certain she's burning to death at this very moment.
That's what everybody was rushing toward.
Yes, and now I must distance myself from her as much as possible because, frankly, she's been here a lot. And there are a lot of people in town who like to stick their noses where they don't belong. A child, you say?
Yes. Now, I am very familiar with certain aspects of this occupation. All I would need to know is what would be your next step, and I can completely pass by you.
She goes to the windows and she pulls the curtains closed, and then she goes over and she sits up on the table that's kind of there, the display table, next to some of the hats that she's made.
Oh, she's a haberdasher too?
She does it all. She says, I still know the connections. I can get your child where they need to go, but after that, I have to sever all ties. You understand, I'm sure.
I completely understand. I've been out of the business for the past 6 months or so I understand.
Bring the child in. I'll make sure that they're cared for and
Whoa, I
kept
thought
safe.
we were talking about clothing. What?
I will also warn you, he will be accompanied by... He has a dog.
Like back arches up. Ears go back even further.
I whisper, he's not a real dog, but don't tell him that, okay?
Okay. Bring the child in.
I will telepathically communicate to Prancival to say, come on in the front door.
All right.
And I'll go open up the front door. I'll just yell out, Prancival, come here, boy.
And Prancival and Deelar come walking in. Deelar follows behind Prancival like it's a game. You know what I mean? Like how kids they follow the leader. Because you'd warned him to follow Prancival, so he does. Like exactly where Prancival goes. And then he steps inside, the door is shut, and then this tabaxi woman, she looks over at Deelar and she says, so, you're the child. And Deelar says,
Have fun role-playing with yourself, Paul.
I just realized I'm role-playing with myself. Deelar's like, yeah, you're going to keep me safe now? And then the Tabaxi woman says, yes, yes, I will. Here, let me show you a room you can stay in upstairs. You can make yourself comfortable. It looks like you've been on the road for a few days. And then she turns to Yugi and she says, don't leave. I'd like to talk with you after I get him settled.
All right. Yeah, and I would also like to know a little bit, like, what will be his cover? Like, is he going to be an apprentice or something? Just, to explain why he's here in the meantime.
Yes, we'll think of something. I'll be right back. She goes through a back door, and then about 3 or 4 minutes later, she comes back down, just her.
Well, while she does that, I'm going to be watching through Prancible's eyes.
Okay. Yeah, you see her take Deelar upstairs. She's like, so my name's Eliona. What's yours? And he's like, I'm Deelar. And she's like, well, what a great name. So where are you from? And he says, I'm from outside of Knuckle Creek. Some bad things happened, and then Eliona says, oh, we don't need to talk about that. That's fine. You just, here you're safe, and I'll make sure that we get you somewhere very safe. Sound good? And he says, yeah. You see them go into a bedroom upstairs. It looks like there's a couple of doors up here on the second floor. There's a big landing, like that's where she takes her meals, and there's a kitchen up there as well. And then there's like 2 bedrooms, but she takes him into the smaller of the 2. There's a bed, there's a window, there's a candle that she lights, there's a big like armoire, and she says, "Here, this is where you can stay, and we'll even let your dog stay here too. And just let me know if you need anything. I'll be talking with your friend downstairs, but I'll be back up in just a few minutes, and we will get to know each other." And he says, okay. And then Eliona, this Tabaxi woman, she comes back downstairs to talk to Yugi.
Okay.
You had some questions for me, Guy?
So, he's a wonderful kid. And I think he understands how careful he needs to be. And he's done a great job so far of following the rules, playing the part we set for him. He was posing as my nephew, and he seemed to do fine in the wagons over. So I don't think him blabbing is going to be a big issue.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I'm Eliona, by the way.
Oh.
She holds out her hand.
I will shake her hand, and I will say, do I want to give my real name? Okay, first up, do I trust the vibe she's giving off so far?
Make an insight check.
Okay. That's only an 11.
Oh, no.
So, I mean, you can read her body language. You assume you can. Her hackles were raised. Her ears were back. You can tell that she was on edge. Now, after talking with Deelar, she comes back down. She seems much more poised. She seems under control. You don't have a reason to doubt what she has to say. And you also don't have a reason to doubt that her name is actually Eliona.
Okay. It's a little too close to Aona for my comfort. Taking Deelar back. I'm kidding. I know not all worshippers of Aona are zealots or crusaders or inquisitors. You can call me Guy.
Okay, Guy. Well, Guy, I'm going to let you in on a little information here about Redlam. In case you are unaware, the Church of Aona, the Inquisitors, the Acolytes, the Crusaders who are here in town, they are overzealous. So people such as Deelar need to watch themselves, need to keep their noses clean. You will probably hear rumors of a group called the Silent Voice. They will probably be rumors of them being terrorists or being dangerous, but just know that they are those like Deelar. They are those who are here in the city, who are trying to make things better for people like Deelar here. But I will not be keeping Deelar here. I will find a way to get him out of the city and somewhere safe.
All right. Yeah, he needs to be far away from this while he learns to control what it is he can do. Now, unfortunately, on our trip out here, my colleagues and I were not as discreet as we would have liked to have been. So I was wondering if you had any clothing for purchase that I could bring back to them just so we could have a quick change of look and attire.
Oh, well, of course. Just be aware I don't give discounts.
Oh, I'm flush with cash. I got paid 15 gold this evening.
Oh, la-di-da. Yeah, so, you can look for some different outfits. I gotta look up the pricing for clothing.
You better get me something cute.
Yeah, I'll get something cute for Cilvy, don't worry.
Yeah.
But it's gonna cover a lot. It'll be cute, but it covers a lot.
Rude.
Well, no, because we're trying to disguise ourselves.
So what I'll say is, because this is a disguise that you're looking for, you can get costume clothes for 5 gold pieces a piece per outfit, or you can get fine clothes for 15 gold pieces a piece.
Oh, well, you know that I'm fancy. I'm bougie. So I'm going to go ahead and get 4 sets of fancy clothes, and I'll let you
And
guys
he's going to
describe.
keep all of those, and then he's going to get the rest of us some $5.
That's going to be 60 gold pieces.
Oh, gee, that is going to be 60 gold
Yes,
pieces.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, or it could be 20. Okay.
No, we're doing 50 or 60 gold pieces. 60 gold
Okay,
pieces.
60
Or I
gold
could just do fancy for myself and then costume for everyone else.
You totally could.
I love that.
No, I'll get good for everybody.
Okay.
And but I'll let you guys just kind of decide what they look like. But Mawgrim's is not going to be all black. And
Shoot darn.
It's Paisley.
yeah, so they're just going to look different than our normal style, just to maybe keep us disguised a little bit better while we're here in town.
So, Eliona, she comes down and she picks out some outfits for you and she hands them to you. She says, and these should fit what you described. But if you need some sizing, then don't hesitate to come back and I can size them expertly. And yes, if you need anything else, specifically about Deelar, then you can come and talk to me. If you find yourself in this kind of situation again, I will no longer be able to help you.
I completely understand.
All right, we're going to cut back over to Mawgrim and Ornan and Cilvy. You all are headed towards the Oaken Throne, I do believe, correct?
Yes.
As you head towards the Oaken Throne is back down towards where you guys separated when you first got into town. So the Cinders Square is way up by the Chapel of Aona, which is up by the docks, which is on the north side of town. You travel back south past that large split tower building called the Prolian Archives, past Umbral Pike Keep, which is this massive castle in the center of town. Just across the square from the Temple of Torm, you see the Oaken Throne Inn. The Oaken Throne Inn is, it's not so much wide, but it is tall. It is made of gray stone. It's a 3-story building. Outside, there is a sign by the front door, and you recognize the sign as the Oaken Throne because it is literally a wooden throne hanging from a signpost out in front. You can see that the windows are leaded. They are bubbly glass, so you can't see in, but you can see light spilling out. It looks like the Oaken Throne is built on like a corner, so there's a park and square off to the west, but you are entering in from the south side of this inn.
Okay. We just go right into the inn, right? Unless there's something you guys wanted to do.
I think so. This looks to be it.
What's everyone's passive perception?
Mawgrim's is 24.
Your passive
Jeez.
perception is 24?
Holy guacamole.
Oh my god.
Because he took a feat, the observant feat
Okay.
at level 4.
Oh my god.
Wow.
All right.
Okay. Before you guys walk in, as you are walking next to this building, you can see that there's actually also like these wooden thrones that are built. They're like extra big, but they're set along the side of the building too, just really to make sure that you know this is the Oaken Throne. As you are walking by Mawgrim, something catches your eye, and you look over towards this like bulletin board that is set on the side of the Oaken Throne Inn. It looks like it's a poster. It says, "Reward for information leading to the apprehension of Wilhelm Lionstorm, known trafficker of dangerous individuals and heretics to the teachings of Aona. Last seen Fantasy March in Fisher's Landing, Siren Barony. Report any sightings to the Church of Aona. May Aona's fire purge our hearts of ill. And there is also a picture, like an artist's rendering of this Wilhelm Lionstorm. With your passive perception, I don't think there's any reason why you would not recognize that this drawing looks somewhat like Guy.
Oh, what was the name
Wow.
again? It was Wilhelm Lionstorm?
Yes.
Only the coolest name of all time.
A name that you all recognize as from Guy's book that he's writing, supposedly.
And you said it was the Siren Barony?
Yeah, he was last seen in a town called Fisher's Landing in Siren Barony.
Are you pointing this out to us, Mawgrim?
I think I might pause and walk over and pull that off the bulletin board.
Okay.
I will say that there are some visual differences, though. Paul said you can recognize it as looks a lot like Guy, but you kind of see the features are a little maybe heavier, honestly, like a little squarer in the face, and whereas currently Guy has a very well maintained like David Beckham facial hair. This picture has just like a beard and no mustache, and like heavier eyebrows, like thicker eyebrows and stuff. The Guy you know looks a bit more fine in his features.
Got it. Okay.
The Guy you know would be married to Posh Spice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Then you guys, looks like you enter in and you walk into the Oaken Throne. You can see that as you walk in, there's this entry room. There's a staircase off to the right that goes up to the second floor. You can see that there's a door to your left, and there's this counter, and on it there's this ledger. There's this book for people who are probably renting rooms. But you can see back behind this counter, there is a large common room. You can see that it is full of people. You see a couple halflings in there sharing a meal. You can see that sitting at the bar, you see Calvin Silvercrest. You see him sitting at the bar next to this older man. They're both having a drink and they're just kind of chit-chatting. You see there is a dwarven woman behind the bar. As you walk in, she notices you and she holds up a finger and says, "Just a second, I'll be with you in a second." And you can see there's lots of people in here milling about.
If my kids were there, they would have said, "It's been a second."
Gosh.
Ooh.
Oh, man, that's such a burn.
I know.
You can see even back in the corner, you see Ryla is sitting at a table by herself. It looks like she's eating some food, and it looks like she's got a little book out. She's going through some numbers or something. Looks like she's running some numbers for this last trip that she did. After a second, this dwarven woman from behind the bar, she comes around the bar, through the common room, and back up to this front counter and asks, "Well, are you needing a room tonight here at the Oaken Throne?"
Yes, I believe so.
How many rooms are you going to be needing?
Have you got rooms sized for folk my size?
Oh yes, not to worry. We have beds that'll fit you.
Perfect.
We have beds that'll fit both of you, standing on each other's shoulders. Ha ha ha! That's a joke.
Hey, that's a new one.
I'm sorry, I bet it's probably not.
It's not, but I thought I'd try to make you feel good.
All right. Well, how many rooms are you going to be needing?
Well, I imagine perhaps we could make do with... I mean, if there's one room that has enough beds in it, perhaps we could all share one together?
Well, I have rooms that will fit. I have a room that will fit 6, and I have a room up in the attic. I have a room that will fit 4.
I think the room that would fit 4 might be appropriate. What do you all think?
I think that safety and numbers might not be a bad thing in a new city.
That sounds great.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, room and board for 4 people. That's like going to be for one night up in the attic. We'll say 8 silver.
We better do a couple of nights. We may be in the city for maybe 3-4 days. I don't know. What do you all think?
That sounds reasonable. I think 3 or 4 days will probably get us through.
Yeah, Cilvy can pay that. She's got plenty of gold, so.
All right, then we'll just say do 4 gold. Just 4 gold, and then you guys have the room for 4 nights.
I'll take this one on, Cilvy. I'll make the payment this time. You can get the next one.
Okay, all right.
And does that include meals? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks?
That includes dinner, but it does not include any drinks. Drinks are separate.
Ah, I gotcha. All right.
That's
well,
how they get you.
let's get some supper going.
She's like, you don't have to drink, but everyone does. All right. She hands you a key and she says, all right, so the room is on the 3rd floor at the front of the building.
Well, give me all your things. I'll go put everything away. You guys get situated.
I'd like to go and get situated as well up in the room first.
Okay, well, let's head on up then.
All right, you guys, you head up the stairs, and it takes you to this landing on the 2nd floor. And for a second there, you're kind of like, well, where's the stairs that go further up? You have to walk down a couple of hallways towards the back of the building, and then there's another staircase that takes you up to the 3rd floor. And the 3rd floor it looks a little different than the 2nd floor. The 2nd floor looks like it's got nicer rooms. The doors are like polished wood. There's like these nice candles that are lit. The 3rd floor, the floor is rougher wood. You can see that the doors are they are not nearly as polished. You can see that the ceiling starts to slope as you get towards the edges, towards the east and west side of the building. But you find the door at the end of the hall that takes you back up to the front of the building, and you can see there are these 2 bunk beds. And you have a little dresser in here, a little nightstand, and then you have a big window, so you can actually look out onto the street in the front of the building.
Well, it's a little bit tight in terms of space, but I think it'll work. I'll just refrain from distilling urine while we're all in here together.
I appreciate that.
That would be ideal.
I did see a latrine down the hall. Mayhaps you could go and use the facilities if you need to do that.
Oh, perfect.
You could probably borrow other people's urine if you went in there.
Oh, and I will, for sure.
Well, I call the top bunk.
You guys can kind of situate yourselves in here, and the bartender let you know that if you guys are ready, you guys can come back down and get some food as well.
Okay. Ornan would take his pack off and then head back downstairs.
Yeah, before we go, though, I want to pull out that poster and show it to them and say, does this individual look a little bit familiar to you two?
Oh, I think that's the name of Guy's character in the book. How funny.
Yeah, the book that he's writing. Right.
Yes.
What a coincidence.
If I recall, I did pass an insight check on that all those episodes ago.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
And I did not.
Way a long time ago, I had passed an insight check on Guy and recognized that when he said his name, or when he had mentioned like Baron Thorn, I should have used that name, or should have taken that name.
Oh, that's right.
That I got the impression that Guy was not his real name. And so I'm actually going to say that to Cilvy and to Ornan at this time. I had this strong impression during a conversation we had a week or so ago that Guy may not actually be his real name.
Well, I'm not sure that Wilhelm is his real name either, but it mayhap be an alias he used at one point in time.
Perhaps.
That picture is the spitting image of maybe a little chubbier, maybe a little more filled out version of Guy.
Yes, that is what I think as well. I would say this. Seeing this poster does not exactly worry me, because, well, given what we all know about one another, it just further indicates to me that he is the type of individual that we can assume will be discreet.
He's a comrade.
He's a comrade, yes. Comrade.
What does it say he's wanted for again?
It says he is wanted. He is a known trafficker of dangerous individuals and heretics to the teachings of Aeona. He was last seen Fantasy March in Fisher's Landing, and right now it's like the beginning of Fantasy October, so like 6 months ago.
Well, I think if these claims are true about him, it puts us in great company, like you said, Mawgrim.
Although I would say if they are actively searching for this individual, perhaps we should be careful.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't think we want to end up like Jelluin. And if they're actively searching for him this far away from where he was last seen, I think we'll need to be extra vigilant.
Sabrina, can you say that again and say extra vigilant?
What did I say?
Vigilant.
Village,
Which
like,
was super cute. I loved it, though.
I'm so tired.
That's totally fine.
We'll need to be extra vigilant. Did I say it again? Oh my god! Vigilant! What the?
Can we keep it though?
Yeah.
Vigilant. We
Vigilant.
need to be extra vigilant. Constant vigilance.
There you go. Now, Cilvy, before we head back down there, you seem to have a pretty visceral reaction to the burning of that woman, and you knew her name. You just said her name was Jellowin. I didn't know her. Did you know that woman?
I did know her. She was kind of part of my family. And
Your family?
well, she's from the same group as I'm from, but we're all kind of a family together. It's hard to explain, but yes, I knew her. Her name was Jellowin, and it was sad to see her go like that.
I'm so sorry.
And I would really like to avoid that fate for all of us.
As would I. I can't imagine what's going through your head right now.
I think I could use a pint.
Well, let's get a drink in ya.
Perhaps we should go down and have a drink. Not of urine either, but like a real proper drink.
Whatever
way
you
you
want to do.
Because I do not drink urine.
Who would do that?
The more you deny that you drink it, the more worried I get that you might actually drink it.
If you smell it on my breath, it is because I am testing it for its qualities of phosphorus or whatever.
Okay, Gru.
I'm a supervillain.
All right. So Ornan, Mawgrim, Cilvy, you guys come down. This time you come down the back steps, which leads you towards back down to the first floor. As you come into the common room, there's a couple things that you notice. You notice that this dwarven woman is slinging drinks. You can see that back in the kitchen, what must be her husband is like chopping into like this big, huge hunk of ham with this massive cleaver. You see people are eating food. You see there's some dessert, some kind of a blackberry crumble or something that people are eating. It seems like it smells really good in here. The alcohol is flowing. You see Ryla up in the corner, and you also see this family that you were traveling with. They are sitting at a table kind of in the middle. They're eating some food. You see this middle-aged man and this middle-aged woman who are husband and wife. You see this young daughter of theirs as well, who was on the road with you. And just as you are coming back down into the common room, Guy approaches from the front and is coming into the oaken throne as well.
I will say that I spent about 10 minutes after I left the Thistledown Threads just listening through Prancival for anything going on, listening to any kind of conversation that Aeliona would have been having with Deelar, just to make sure that I didn't leave and she instantly tied him up and then turned him over.
As you were listening, you noticed that you had to sit still to listen because you didn't want to be walking into any trees or buildings or anything like that. It seems like she is really good with Deelar. You can tell that she has a soft spot in her heart for children. It sounds like.
Okay.
But as you were walking towards the oaken throne, the only thing that really of note on your walk from Thistledown Threads to the oaken throne is nobody's out at night. Nobody's out. At one point, you see 3 of the Baron's guards moving around, patrolling the streets, but they are in tight formation. I mean, they're not separating out at all. They're staying close to each other, and they are moving quickly. And you hear the sounds of animals fighting. It's very similar to when the night before when you were in Bayman. You hear dogs howling and barking, and you can hear that really rough, angry fighting that you can hear dogs get into sometimes. You hear that multiple times on your trip through town to the Oaken Throne. But you do manage to get here without actually seeing or encountering any of those animals that are angry.
Yeah, while I'm walking through, I'll have my visor down, and I'll try to look as much like a
ferocious warrior.
Yeah, I'll try to look like a ferocious warrior. Yeah, or a knight, somebody who's confident, somebody who maybe even belongs out on the streets at night, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I'll just head toward the oaken throne.
Yeah, as you walk in through the front door, you can see right through to the common room, and you can see Mawgrim, Ornan, and Cilvy coming into the common room from a back door.
All right, I'll head in, and as I see them, I'll raise my visor and I'll say, "Hey, everyone!" And of course, Guy, being the model of discretion, as they were talking about before, will pull out this bright, like canary yellow outfit from his backpack and say, "Mawgrim, I found this for you. It's going to look fantastic."
Oh my gosh. You can see that everybody kind of turns to look and see who just came wandering in, making such a scene. You do see Kaladin sitting at the bar. Also, I failed to mention that there's actually somebody on the stage. There's a stage here, and there's somebody playing the harp and singing some songs as well. So it seems like this is a pretty happening place.
Okay. And as I walk by, I'll nod to Kaladin as well.
He nods back. He's got like a little a glass of wine in front of him.
Okay. And I'll belly up to the bar next to Ornan. "Hey everyone, I got us some new clothes so we can change out of the trail worn things we've been wearing. How was the rest of your introduction to Redlum?"
It was fine, Wilhelm. Sylvia will say it kind of quietly, but just sort of see Guy's reaction.
Okay, I'm going to try to make a deception check to not
damn.
show any emotion whatsoever. It's a 16.
So why don't you make an insight check against that, Cilvy?
Insight? Okay. I'm not very good at this. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, so 11, so...
You're
Why do you keep tricking me like this?
What a coincidence.
Huh. I thought for sure that would work. I must be wrong. I'm gonna kind of glare at Mawgrim and be like, "Damn, you fooled me."
Yeah.
Ornan also only got an 11 on his insight, but I think he's more impressed at Guy's ability to lie than not seeing through it.
Right. I think less that you don't necessarily believe that that this is not him. You know that he's connected somehow, right, to this wanted poster. Maybe it's not him. Maybe it's a long lost twin brother or something. You know, you know that there's some kind of a connection, right? He's not able to just like, "Nope, not me." Okay, well, see you later. End of that story arc. It's gone.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we're going to talk more in the future, so.
Well, let's get some food and get settled.
Speaking of settled, I have a date, and I'm going to wander over to Ryla's table.
Oh.
Oh gosh.
Sachet.
She told me I could buy her a drink.
Yes, she did. You see, as you approach, she sets her book down and she looks up. She says, "I did not strike you as the kind of man who actually meant what he said. I'm sorry I doubted you."
It's okay. People often underestimate me. What are you having?
Most expensive drink that they have here.
Insight check.
I hope girl said just that too. Like, not even answered with a drink, just the most expensive thing.
She's like, whatever it is, I'll have the whole bottle.
Okay, I'm doing an insight check. That's a 15. She's being playful, right?
She's being playful. She's tweaking your nose, but
Okay.
she would not be upset if you did buy her the most expensive drink here.
And I'll just say, booze, ale, wine, preference?
Wine.
Okay. And I'll head over to the bar and I'll get a glass of wine for her, and then I'll get a dark and stormy for me.
Nice.
And bring it back to Ryla and just chat her up for a bit.
Cool. Yeah, you can chat her up. Yeah, you guys seem to get along. She's playful enough. She's got a similar vibe, I think, to Guy. A little less
foppish.
Yes, but definitely playful in that way. Yeah, and you guys sit down here and you eat a nice meal. You can see that this family that was with you on the road, they finish up their meal, and the young girl stands up. She's yawning. She's tired. She looks over at you all four. She's like, "Oh, where's Deelar?" Because if you recall, when you were on the road, this young girl and Deelar were playing a lot.
I will say, and this is a lie, so I will do a deception check. I will say, we were bringing Deelar to some other family here in town. He's going to take on a new profession. He's going to learn to be a tailor. And I rolled a 19 deception.
And she rolled a natural 1. And she says, he gets to stay here in the city? Oh, wow.
Well, he may end up going to some other town to do some apprenticeship work, but yeah.
But he doesn't have to go back to a crummy little town like Knuckle Creek. And she kind of looks over at her parents. Sorry.
Wait a minute, are you not staying in the city either?
The mom says, "Oh, we're not sure where we're going to end up yet. We're still trying to figure that out. We've got a little bit saved up, but I think that Redlam's out of our budget."
How far out of your budget is it?
She looks over at her husband, and he's like, "Well, we couldn't possibly. We'll figure it out. We'll make do."
Nonsense! You skinned mighty creatures for us.
That I did. That I did.
Brenneth. No, sorry, Kenneth, because I remembered I said I wouldn't remember his name right. Kenneth.
He's like, "Well, it's Brenneth."
Where's Grandma? Is she okay from the trip?
Oh, wait, Grandma? No. She wasn't with us.
Ah! Oh, sorry. I had this stupid theory.
No, she was just a traveler. She just traveled with us. We kept an eye on her on the trip, but no, she went her own way as soon as we got here into town. She said she had family that she was going to go stay with.
No. I'm going to I'll say, Ryla, if you'll excuse me, and I'm going to head over to Calden. And I'm going to say, I was trying so hard not to be, like, creeped out by an old lady on the road or, like, think there was anything wrong with her or anything, but she wasn't with that family. I have this terrible fear that was your mother in disguise.
You can see he, like, drops his glass.
It's completely unfounded, and like I said before, if this was an episode of Law and Order, that it'd be circumstantial objection, right? But I was trying so hard, Paul. I was trying so hard not to be like creeped out, and obviously the old lady is some kind of evil witch or something,
right?
Jerk. I mean, it may not be her, but.
So while Guy is over here like having this like mind-blowing experience, well, that sounds incredibly nasty. Guy, his jaw is on the floor.
Yeah, he already broke up with Calden.
Yeah.
Also, his jaw's on the floor also isn't much better either.
His pants are on the floor. I mean.
No, Ornan was going to count out 10 gold and hand it to him and say, well, I hope this might ease some of your travels and help you get situated.
The father's like, no, we couldn't possibly. And then the wife's like, oh, no, for the work you did, for skinning those manticore.
Of course.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you. Of course, if you ever need anything skinned again, come in. You can tell that his pride is like, he's trying to keep his pride as best he can. But they thank you profusely. And then they head on upstairs to go and get some sleep.
I met a tailor today. We should see if we can get anything done with those manta corpses. So dumb.
So good. All right. So you're over there talking with Calden. Calden's like, well, she could have just been another traveler who was traveling with the caravan. I mean,
I know, but it's again, it's all circumstantial, but it's too perfect. I need another drink.
I will have to think on this. We'll talk more in the morning. And then he scoops up the glass that had fallen and broken, and he puts it up on the counter, and he says, I'm sorry. And he puts a couple silver on the counter. Says, hopefully this covers that glass. And then Calden stands up from the bar, and he says, good night, everyone. And then he goes upstairs and out of the common room.
Night. And I'll head back over to Ryla, continue to chatter up. Ask her how Mibbles and Coco are doing.
All right. The night goes on. You and Ryla are talking. Cilvy is drowning her sorrows in pint after pint, potentially. Mawgrim and Ornan, what are you two doing? And I guess the big question is, how late are you guys all going to stay up?
Ornan might close the bar out.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that Mawgrim would stay up too late.
Yeah, I think Cilvy would want to go to bed pretty quickly and kind of just would go upstairs and think about life, contemplate stuff.
Okay.
I think Guy would be, again, chatting up Ryla, but probably also head up to bed earlier than last call.
Ornan would want to, so it looks like there might be some little folk as well at one of these tables. Ornan would want to try to introduce himself and maybe get a vibe for the city, maybe hear some rumors, what's kind of going on, get a lay of the land so that he can be better prepared for whatever might come their way.
Okay, yeah. Why don't you just make a general persuasion check? I'll give you some information, but just depending on how high you roll, we'll kind of see how many different rumors you get.
So Ornan got a 15.
Oh, 15, that's really good. These two here, these two halflings, they finish their meal. They're having a few drinks before they head up to bed. And Ornan, you start talking with them. They start telling you some of the things that they've heard around town. And with your 15, there are a few different things that you have heard. Pick a number between 1 and 3.
Ooh, I'm going to do D6 and then divide by 2.
Okay.
That would be a 2.
Okay, and then one more number between 1 and 3.
Oh, all right. That would be a 1.
Okay, perfect. All right, so some of the things that you hear that are happening around town. Recently, there were some new followers of Aona that came into town, which you have kind of heard, but now you have a name to go with these new followers of Aona, this new sect called the Sect of Navor, or Navorians.
Navorian, okay.
Navorian, yes. The two wizards that you saw, they are the Navorians, and then the bodyguard warriors that are with them, they're called Watchers, right? That's their title. And they act as bodyguards or wardens, or in worst case scenario, they are executioner should, quote, corruption happen to these magic users. Okay. So you have now a name, and you hear that they come from the south, and it originated down to the south in Rovian Barony, which is down on the coast. The second thing that you get to chatting about, you hear a rumor that something is going on. Like, you've heard the animals going kind of crazy and wild, but you've also now heard from these two halflings that the Shrine of Sylvanus, apparently the druids who are there, who run that shrine, druidic magic is more natural, right? So it's not necessarily a sin. It's not seen as necessarily corrupting like arcane magic is. These druids who are running this Shrine of Sylvanus, they have been seen in town more often, and the rumor is that they have abandoned the shrine for some reason, but nobody knows why. They just know that they see these kind of earthy, hippie, hide-wearing folk walking through town, and it seems that they spend a lot of time at a park over on the west side of town.
Okay. Interesting. Ornan will thank them for the conversation.
All right. Well, Mawgrim and Cilvy, I think, call it a night first. Guy and Ornan, you both kind of finish your conversations right around the same time that the harpist finishes her music. I think, Guy, as you say your goodbyes to Ryla, I want you to just make a persuasion check just to give kind of the impression, the overall feeling that you've given.
Oh, yeah, it was a 25.
It's a 25.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I think when you leave to go to bed, she's a little bit taken aback. Okay. You're still here tomorrow, right?
As far as I know, yeah, who knows where the winds will take me. I'm mysterious and aloof in that way.
No, we got rooms for the next 4 days.
I was going to say, when I first came in, I was thinking, oh, yeah, Guy's not even going to worry about getting a room because he is going to really hit it off with Ryla. But honestly, he learned a lesson a long time ago that a girl who'll kiss on the very first date is usually a hussy.
And the girl who kissed him the second time around is anything but fussy.
It's true. So yeah, he's looking for a shapoopy.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
All right. Okay.
I don't know what a shapoopy is, but that sounds
Man, it's the music man. But anyway, honestly
Oh my
though,
God.
it's calculated. It's calculated.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Well, very good. Okay. Yeah. You go on upstairs. You kind of leave her wanting more. She was intrigued by you. All right. Very good. You all head up to the third floor to the room at the front of the inn. While you guys are all up there in that room, if anybody wants to say anything or talk about anything, now is your chance. You have some privacy.
I will hand out the clothes and say, "You all owe me 15 gold."
Oh, gosh.
Sylvie will immediately toss it over.
There's a lot of sequin on this shirt you got me.
It's very latest fashion. Actually, I will say this: you guys can decide what they look like and stuff, but I do want to pick one specific aspect of everybody's clothing, and that is Mawgrim's does actually have quite a bit of canary yellow, but it's not like a whole canary yellow like jumpsuit. It's just I thought it'd be funny if he wore some color.
wait, a jumpsuit? It's a onesie?
Like Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Ornan, your outfit, you can decide what it looks like, but it has to include a William Shakespeare collar.
Nice.
Okay?
Nice.
Now, why is it that we are wearing these things?
Wait, Cilvy, you can decide what yours looks like as well, but it does have a very large bow on the back, like a big accent bow like an anime character would have.
Oh my gosh. Little Sophie.
Yeah, like just like right on the like lower back. So.
Oh gosh.
I'm not even mad.
Perfect.
I'm really not sure how to tie this collar, but I'll give it a go.
No, those aren't pajamas, Ornan.
Oh, I'm not supposed to sleep in this?
It's very fancy clothes.
It's awfully shiny. All the sequin on the arms and the design of sequin on the chest. It's gonna draw attention.
Well, honestly, I was looking for something that would look good with the arm pinned up.
I appreciate that.
And the collar is very now. It's very chic.
All right. Well, I'll wear it tomorrow.
Honestly, for all the good work we did on the road, keeping all those people safe, we were not as discreet as we... I wouldn't even say as we could have been. I think we were about as discreet as we could be if we wanted to stay alive.
I do like staying alive.
Yes. It's my favorite Bee Gees song. But I got us some new clothes so that maybe we could blend in a little bit better. I know that Tobias, potentially, he's going to go talk with the Baron, and he said he may need to summon us, and I personally don't want to go, and I don't want to be easily recognizable were I to skip out on that required meeting.
That is a very, very fair point. I don't know that yellow is my color, but I guess I can give it a try.
Well, we all know black is your color. Black looks fantastic on you.
Doesn't it look good?
But that's the point. The point is to not look like you for a little bit.
It is a bit ostentatious.
I'm not sure how long I want to stay in town.
Well, how did the handoff with Deelar go?
It went well, given the circumstances. I learned about a group called the Silent Voice, or the Voiceless Silence, something like that apparently is working underground, kind of against the strict austerity of the Lamplighters, of the cult of Aona. But Deelar was probably the last person to go through those channels. The proprietor there was saying that the woman who was doing most of that work was condemned to death today. I think that's probably who you saw on the pyre.
Yes.
Jelloin. Her name was Jelloin.
And you knew her?
I did, yes. She was she was from the same tribe as me, the same group. Is Deelar safe? If she was part of this organization, this voice, and we just sent him off there.
Well, the voice apparently is sympathetic. I left Prancival with Deelar for the time being, so if anything is to happen to Prancival, I would know. And I can check in on Deelar. Apparently, I can write people messages if they've signed a contract in my book. And they can hear it in their head and they can respond.
Fascinating.
So convenient.
Yeah, yes. So I have Deelar's name here in my book, which means we can send him messages and we can check up on him anytime we want.
I did hear a rumor as I was having some conversation with some great folks downstairs. They said that the priests of Sylvanus have been acting mighty strange. And, if anybody knows anything about the wild animals and all the strange things we saw during our travels, they might be the ones to ask. They even gave me directions to a park where we might be able to find them.
Well, perhaps it might not be bad to gather a little bit of intelligence. Perhaps it's just me, but it does feel like things are changing, and not altogether for the good.
I agree.
I think the city might be more dangerous than Barrowgrad, except at least we're not quite as a fish in a barrel here.
Exactly. We can hide maybe even more in plain sight because we can blend in with everyone.
I still don't like it. I don't like how many people sat by while that woman was murdered and just watched. I don't like that I sat by. That's something I'm trying to reconcile in my head. I didn't do anything.
Well, but to have done something would have been certain death.
Was that the impression you got? Those other people in attendance, they would were they bloodthirsty? Were they happy? Were they appeased?
They seemed eager to watch, rushing through the streets to catch a glimpse of the woman burning.
Well, and there were more than a few rather intimidating inquisitors that were there.
We have to keep our heads down here. Cilvy, I'm very sorry for your loss.
Oh, thank you.
The woman that I left Deelar with said that she still knew all of the same contacts. I'm wondering if that woman, if you knew Jellowin, I'm wondering if Deelar's going to end up with your people regardless.
Well, it would be a safe place for him if that's the case. Much safer than this city.
Yes. I just realized I don't know much about where you're from. I just know that you have a family and that apparently being a Pahaftma is okay there.
Yes, I come from a small clan. We're relatively secretive because of, the nature of our Pahaftma status. Well, we consider each other a family, but it's more of a group of like-minded people who are working to make the world a better and safer place for us Pahaftmas.
So kind of like a commune. So you're a hippie.
Yeah. You could say that. We do share resources communally, so you could say that.
Crystals, essential oils, it's all very woo-woo.
What's the love situation there? Is it free?
Whatever you want to do, you can do as long as you're not harming anybody.
All right.
No, it's a lovely place. If Deelar's able to get there, that would, honestly, I think that would be a much safer place for him than the city.
Agreed. And he will be taken out of the city. That was also stipulated. But like I said, we could send him a message. If anyone wants to... It's kind of late now, but maybe in the morning, if you want to send him a message, we can write him some things, and he'll get it. And how it works is I'll write in my book, and then he hears it, and he says his response, but it'll appear as writing back in my book.
Very cool.
Is anybody going to tell Guy about his wanted poster?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Victor will pull that out and say, Guy, perhaps it is time that you tell us a little bit more about this. And we'll hand over the wanted poster.
Wow, this man has the coolest name. do you want to know a secret?
Yes, please.
This is me.
I knew it.
Wow. You really had the wool over all of our ears and faces and over us.
All over.
All over.
Oh, well, I
Oh my.
think the bed situation would have to be different for that.
This was me. This was me in another life. Before
It
I
says
found my
it
way-
was 6 months ago.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes. This life is pretty new, honestly, and I'm kind of loving it. But this was before I came to Beregrad. I had found I don't know if you'd call it a calling, because it also paid pretty well. But I found myself ferrying people like us between places to find safety, to get them out of harm's way. And at the time, the coolest name I could think of was Wilhelm Lionstorm, so that's what I called myself.
I'll give you that. It's a cool name.
Yeah. And after things went to I had to make some changes, and I changed my name, and I changed my look, and I changed my location. But apparently they're still looking for me clear up here. That was clear down in Fisher's Landing. But yeah, down in the Siren Barony.
Just so everyone knows, Syrian Barony is basically, if you follow this river as it heads down out of this lake, Crimson Vale Lake, it will go down through this mountain valley, and that mountain valley is the Syrian Barony. Like, that whole valley is the Syrian Barony.
Yes. I think the point from this to me is, if they are indeed still looking for you, we must tread carefully. I think it's going to be important that we take proper precautions.
Exactly. Which is why the canary yellow.
Very well.
But honestly, it was I had my own boat, and I used to take it up and down the river. I used to sail a lot at night, which is very exciting. I don't know if you've sailed a river at night and had to avoid rapids and rocks and learn the whole layout and know exactly where the safe places to. I was about to say to pull out, but
Lots of practice with the pull out. Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
The safe places to land and beach, and yeah, that was my life for a few years before Beregrad and Nalira and all of you.
How often do you change lives, would you say?
I'm on life number 3, maybe 3.5.
I've lived a few iterations of myself too, but I've never quite changed my name.
Well, you would if you had my given name.
Oh, you can't throw that out
Now
there
you
and then
guys-
not say anything. Let's have it, boy.
Well, first you gotta reimburse me for the clothes. I've already got the 15 from Cilvy.
I thought you might have forgotten about that, but all right, here's 15.
Is your given name really stupid? Is it like Bubba?
No. Oh, Bubba. I honestly, Bubba would have been an improvement.
Is it Bubba?
No offense to anybody that's actually named Bubba out there. It's a
Yeah.
fine name.
Yeah, come on, Jordan.
Originally, I'm from Lone Shore, and my parents are tradespeople. They made clogs. They were shoemakers, but they specialized in wooden shoes. So my given family name was Klompenmarker.
Good heavens.
I
What a terrible name.
love it. It's incredible.
My name was William Klompenmarker, and everybody called me Little Willie Klompenmarker.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's a big secret. Nobody else knows that, and I would greatly appreciate your discretion just as much with that information as the fact that I'm a Pahaftma, please.
Yeah, that's honestly way worse.
I would have relished being a Bubba.
But we landed on Gee.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Well,
All right. As you guys finish this conversation, you can hear the sounds of nighttime. You can hear the animals still kind of going at it all. I gotta stop saying going at it.
Oh, wow. Those are a lot different sounds than I put in on that last episode.
Animals are aggressively going at it in this town.
You can hear the
Zookeeper, those two monkeys are killing each other.
Oh my god. Okay, so anyway, on that note, as the night gets darker and it gets later and later, you hear the sounds of animals. You can hear the howls and the hisses. You can hear the barks, and you can hear like the every once in a while, like wings will go fluttering by your window. It sounds like there is birds that are moving out at night, probably owls, maybe some bats and things like that as well. But the night is restless here in Redlum. But you are safe and cozy here in the Oaken Throne, and I'd imagine that you all get relatively good sleep, especially now in an actual bed and not in your bedrolls on the floor. You wake up here in the third floor of the Oaken Throne in bunk beds, just like a camp.
Okie dokie. Good morning. If you guys need to urinate, please urinate in that jar over there.
You promised you wouldn't do that in the room.
Mawgrim, it's full. It's mostly full. There's hardly any room.
And it's so cloudy.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So one thing to all of our listeners, anyone who's not a patron and does not see the maps, I have been extra careful in this campaign to put latrines, to put garderobes in all of my maps. There's actually places to poop. Anyway, even though chamber pots were a real thing.
Wait, Mawgrim, did you need poop too?
No, I do not.
Well, let's get breakfast.
All right. Well, you guys head down towards the common room to go and order yourselves some breakfast. As you take those back steps, heading down the stairs, looks like Mawgrim and Ornan come in first. As you are, you see that the dwarven woman is behind the bar again. She's doing the typical bartender morning thing, which is like scrubbing some pewter mugs and stacking up some barrels and things like that. And as you all go to sit at the bar to order some food, you hear a voice call out from behind you. Ah, here you are. And as you turn, you see Gardenia, or as Ornan says, Gardenia, which is the cutest thing.
Gardenia, hey!
Wait, Paul, that's the wrong token.
What are you talking about?
I see a different guard farther down.
Yeah, that is normal guard. Gardenia is not a normal guard.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Because where I'm sitting, I can't see Gardenia's token at all.
Oh, gotcha.
Gardenia's a babe.
Oh, she's smoking. She really leveled up, like a lot.
I made her on Hero Forge.
Oh, you did?
I make everybody. I've spent way too much time playing on that thing.
Well, you hear her call out, and she approaches you all from the back. You can see that she's accompanied by two other guards that are dressed in the Baron's livery. You can see that Gardenia... Oh, gosh. You can see that Gardenia is also... Well, her name is Gardenia, you guys.
Gardenia?
You spelled it Guard.
I did. It's so good.
And the other guard's name was Garth, and he died in Grimley Castle, and then we never talked about him again. Anyway, Gardenia, she comes in, back into the common room to talk with you all. She's like, I'm glad I found you. Ornan and I had warned you of a potential requirement. It has come to pass. I am here to take you all to Umbral Pike Keep to speak with Baron Thorn and his council about the goings-on in Beregrat.
Can I do an insight check to see if she thinks we should go or not?
Yeah, go ahead. Do an insight check. Yeah.
She's steely. That's a 4.
Yeah, she is steely.
Ooh, But Mawgrim rolled a 21 on his insight.
Mawgrim, you get the impression that she regrets having to be here, but she is doing her duty. And you also get the impression that she will do her duty.
Got it. Okay.
Oh boy, don't want to cross her.
Are we all required to go?
What am I supposed to do with all that urine in our room?
And that's where we're going to stop for tonight. All right, you guys. Well, very good. Well, hey, thank you for playing, exploring Redlum a little bit and the Oaken Throne. There are some interesting things happening here in the city, and it looks like next
Scary,
time.
terrifying, anxiety-inducing things.
Yeah, I'm not happy about this summons.
Yeah, time to go talk with the Baron, whose name is Thorn Darkheart. I kid you not.
Oh God, it's even better than I thought.
Does he play like heavy metal guitar?
All right, you guys. Well, hey, don't forget, come join us on Discord. You can talk about this episode. Any spoilers that you think might be going on? Maybe like what happened to that old lady? What's going on with that? And until we get together next time, we hope you have a great time.